Today let's try the IUPAC naming. So today I'll just do alkanes, alkene, let's say alkene, alkyne, and also the haloalkanes. So remember, alkanes, they have single bonds, and they are also saturated. And then alkenes, they have double bonds, and then alkynes, they have a triple bond. So here on haloalkanes, this is where we have bromine as a haloalkane, fluorine as a haloalkane, chlorine, and iodine. So we have these four as our haloalkanes. So here, if the structure has it has the single bond, if the structure has the single bond, the ending of the name, since we are talking about the IUPAC naming, so the ending of the name must be ANE. But if it has the double bond, it means that the ending of the name will be ENE. If it's the triple bond, that means the ending of the name, it will have YNE. So these ones we'll talk about them later. Sorry. So here, if the structure is one carbon atom, we can call it, since it's alkanes, we call it methane, the ending ANE. 2 ethane, 3 propane, 4 butane, 5 hexane, 5 is pentane, 6 hexane, then 7 heptane, then 8 octane. So we take them up to 8 in this level. So that means if it's double bond, we don't have meth in the double bond. That means we started from number 2. So we are going to start from 2, eth, then ENE, ethene, 3 prop, ENE, propene. Let me change this one. And then number 4 is bute. Number 4 is bute, but since it's a double bond, ENE, it becomes butene, and so on and so on and so on. So here, number 2, we call it YNE, ethine. Number 3, propine, YNE. This the ending, it shows the name of the homologous series. So, or it shows the family. So the family, we call it the homologous series. So 4 butane, and so on and so on. So now, since we want to talk about the IUPAC naming, let's start here. Let's say we have this structure. So first you count the carbon atom, you check the longest chain, or you check the parent chain. So here it's just a straight chain. That means this is our parent chain. Now after checking the parent chain, now you number the carbon atoms. So we have 1, 2, 3. Now since it's 3 carbon atoms, it means that the name of the structure is prop. Then you check, do we have a double bond or a triple bond or a single bond? So when you check the structure, it consists of a single bond. So the ending of the single bond is ANE. That means now the name of this structure is a propane. Let's check another one. So make sure that the carbon atom bonds up to 4. Not more than 4, not less than 4. So now let's check this one. This one, it has a double bond. So first we check the parent chain. So this is our parent chain. Now before we name our structure, we check where is our double bond. We have to make sure that the double bond is close, or it gets the lowest number. So that means we're going to start from this way. 1, 2, 3. Now check our double bond. It is in carbon atom number 1. So now how many carbon atoms? It's 3. So let's call it the prop. Now where is our carbon atom? Our double bond it is in carbon atom number 1. So we say dash, then 1. This one, it shows the position of a double bond, and then dash. Then what is the ending for double bond? ENE. So now this is the name of this structure. So we call it the IUPAC name of the structure. So now let's try this one. So when we check this one, it has how many carbon atoms? 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 4 carbon atoms. So 4 carbon atoms is what? Bute. Now let's check. We have a triple bond in carbon atom number. So let's say we start this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have a triple bond in carbon atom number 2. So we write a dash, then we write 2, another dash. Then check. It's a triple bond. What is the ending for a triple bond? It's YNE. That means now we're going to say YNE. So this is the IUPAC name of this structure. Now let's try another one. Let's say now we have a branch or a side chain. So we have a side chain. So now we have a side chain. That means when we count, first we must check the longest chain. Now we have a side chain. That means we check the longest chain. We must make sure that the chain is the longest one. So when I check, I see the straight one. That means after checking the longest chain, now we must circle the longest chain to make sure. So we are circling the longest chain. This is our longest chain. Then now we must number our carbon atoms. So first we must check where is the chain, or where is the branch. We must make sure that the branch gets the lower number. So from this side, 1, 2, that means the branch is in carbon atom number 2. But from this way, it's 1, 2, 3, it is in carbon atom number 3. So that means we choose this way. So that means we're going to say 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 4 carbon atoms on our longest chain. So 4 carbon atoms is what? Bute. So now let's check the structure, it consists of single bonds. So since single bonds, let's just call it butane. Now, in carbon atom number 2, we have a branch. So this branch, it has one carbon atom. So we call it a methyl. So carbon atom number 2 dash, we have a methyl. So since now we identified our branch and our parent chain, now we can write the name of this structure. We start with a branch 2 dash methyl, then we combine the names butane. So that means this is the IUPAC name of this structure. Let's try another one. Here's the structure. I have a side chain here, another side chain, okay. So now we must circle the longest chain first. So this is our longest chain. Now it's obvious, this is our longest chain. So now we must number our carbon atoms, but we must check first, we must make sure that the branch, it gets the lowest number. So we are going to, already the branch is in carbon atom number 2 this way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is 5 carbon atoms. So 5 carbon atoms, we call it what? Pente. Then check the structure, it consists of single bonds. So since single bond, let's call it a pentane. Now let's check carbon atom number 2, there is a methyl. So 2, there is a methyl. Carbon atom number 2, the same carbon atom, there's another methyl. So comma 2. So this shows the position of the first methyl, and this one shows the position of the second methyl. So dash, then how many of them? There are 2. So we use the word di methyl. So that di, it represents the number for 2. That means we have 2 methyls. So the first one is on carbon atom number 2, the second one also on carbon atom number 2. So we call them dimethyl. So now we can combine the name starting with the branches 2, 2 dash dimethyl, then pentane. Just like that. So this is the name of that structure. Okay, let's try another one. Let's say now we have a branch and a double bond. We have a branch and a double bond. So this is the branch, and here is our double bond. So we have to make sure that the carbon bonds up to 4. So let's try to name this one. So now, since we have a double bond, and the double bond is a functional group, that means we must consider the functional group first before the branch. So let's check. The functional group here is in carbon atom number 1. That means we're going to start counting this from this direction. So this is our longest chain now. So we're going to start numbering from this 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is 4 carbon atoms. 4 carbon atoms, we call it butane. Now let's check, there is a double bond. So we must show the position of the double bond. So we write dash, then where is our double bond? Carbon atom number 1. So it's 1 dash, then the ending for double bond ene. Now let's check carbon atom number 3. We have methyl, so let's say 3 dash methyl. So now we can combine the name starting with the branch 3 dash methyl, then beauty dash 1 dash in. So this is the name of this structure. So this one is the functional group. So the functional group always come last on the name. So the branch come first. Also the halogen must come first. Then the functional group it come last on the name. So let's try another one. This one. Okay, now we have a branch here with 2 carbon atoms. So since 2 carbon atoms, we call it a methyl, ethyl. Then this one is 1 carbon atom, which is a methyl. So yeah, and let's have a double bond here. Oh, sorry, let's have a single bond. Then here we're going to have a double bond. So this is my mistake. So it's supposed to be single bond. All right, so let's try to name this one. First we must cycle our longest chain. So we cycle the longest chain. That is the longest chain. Now we must start counting. So already we see a double bond in carbon atom number 1. That means we're going to start counting from the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So since it's 6 carbon atoms, we call it what? Hex. So since it's hex, now let's check. There is a double bond in carbon atom number 1. Then we write dash 1 dash ene. Then now let's continue checking. In carbon atom number 4, we see a branch which is ethyl. So carbon atom number 4. So 4 dash ethyl. And then carbon atom number 5, there is a methyl. So 5 dash methyl. So now let's combine the names. But first we must check. We have ethyl and methyl. They are both branches, and the branch must come first. So we must check alphabetically who comes first. So between E and M, E comes first. That means we must start with E. So now this is the name now. 4 dash ethyl dash 5 dash methyl. Then we combine the name hex 1 in. So now that means this is the name for this structure. So now let's say we include 2 branches, for example. So let's say this is the structure, and then we have a branch here which is a methyl. We have another branch here which is ethyl. Then another branch here which is methyl. Let's say we have a double bond. All right. So now here is the structure. First, we must circle the longest chain. We must check the longest chain. So let's check already. As we can see, this is our longest chain. So we take this one. Now, since we have the longest chain, now we must start numbering our carbon atoms. So already we'll start this way because the double bond is very close. So we'll start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So since it's 7 carbon atoms, so we call it hepty. Don't forget the T is hepty. Then dash, check the double bond is in carbon atom number 1. So we write 1 dash ENE. Then now, let's check. Carbon atom number 4, there is a methyl. Also carbon atom number 6, there is another methyl. So let's say this one is 4, 6, this one. Then since there are 2, dimethyl. And then carbon atom number 5, dash ethyl. So since now we're done identifying the branches and the double bonds, now we can combine the names. So since we must write the name alphabetically, so this di is not a part of the name. Di is just a number. So you must check M. We don't check di, you must check M. So between E and M, E comes first. So that means we'll start with 5 dash ethyl dash 4, 6 dash dimethyl. Then hept 1 in. So that means this is the name for this structure. So thank you for watching, and please do not forget to subscribe.